What happens if you masturbate too much? Is masturbation bad for you? I'm going to answer these and more on today's YouTube, so stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Jennifer Lincoln, board certified OBGYN, social media educator, and author, and today I'm talking about masturbation. Why whispering? Because this is a topic I found a lot of people find very shameful to talk about. And what do? I break down the shame and stigmas by talking about these things, getting it out there, and hoping to help you feel a little more confident about your body and understand that touching yourself is nothing to be ashamed of. I get a lot of questions about masturbation as an OBGYN, and my content today is not just for vagina owners, but for all people who might touch themselves. So I hope you get some information to help you. I'm just gonna jump right to it. Masturbation is the safest sex you'll ever have because you can't get pregnant from it and you can't get an infection from it. Well, I guess you could if you had something on your hand, but you know what I mean. And you might feel like you're the only person who masturbates or, that you don't know anybody because nobody talks about this stuff. But a recent study has shown that 78% of adults worldwide masturbate. And I think the rest of them are just lying. So why do we never talk about masturbation, or why do we feel like it's this thing that's, a secret and we can't talk about it? Masturbation gets a bad rap, especially from religion, where it's considered something dirty or shameful, or it somehow is not okay and takes away from waiting until having sex until marriage. And it's just not true. When it comes to anything having to do with sex, our society loves to make it seem dirty and something you're not supposed to talk about in public, and so touching yourself falls into the same category. So I'm going to jump right into the questions you've had and bust so many myths about masturbation. The first one being, what happens if you masturbate too much? Well, here's the nice thing about it is that there's no set amount that once you go over that, there's definite harm or damage. The definition of masturbating too much is if you can't stop doing it. Let's say, for example, you're supposed to go to school or go to work and you can't because you're compulsed to touch yourself. That's too much. But other than that, there's no set number. The other thing about masturbating, quote unquote, too much, if you continue to masturbate and you're having some discomfort, whether it's some swelling or some soreness, and you keep going, well, then you should probably take a break. I find that this question, what people are really asking is, if I masturbate too much or too often, is it going to ruin sex for me? And the answer is no. In fact, masturbation can actually make your sex life really good because you figure out what feels good and you can tell your partner and share that with them. It's like a total win-win. I think this also piggybacks onto the, well, can I damage my clitoris, or can I get too used to that sensation and then I won't be able to orgasm during sex? So I'm specifically speaking here to clitoris owners, and the fact of the matter is that almost all of us masturbate. The truth here is that almost all of us orgasm from clitoral stimulation, not from a penis being in the vagina. So the fact that you are doing that either with some solo sex or as part of sex with your partner, it's all good. And so doing this is not going to make your clitoris too sensitized or become numb if you aren't doing the same thing during sex. It just helps show you what feels good. Some people have said, well, masturbation's dirty, right? No, it's not. That's just the stigma society has put on it. There's nothing dirty or shameful about sex or touching yourself, as long as when you're doing these things, it's consensual, pleasurable, safe, and it aligns with your values. I've said this before, so masturbation can totally fall into that category. Another masturbation myth, well, if I masturbate, it hurts my relationship, or it means that my relationship isn't healthy or something is wrong with our sex life. Totally false. Here's the thing, happily married couples, people who date, everybody masturbates, and when you do that, it's not taking away from the pleasure that you have within your relationship. And I've said this again, it can actually enhance it. If you are touching yourself, it doesn't mean that your partner, your husband, your wife, your fiance, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, it doesn't mean they're not doing enough. We don't need our partners to satisfy every need. It's really cool when we can take care of some of our own. And then if you want to add that into your play in the bedroom, you've just got more tools in the toolbox. I've heard this one too. Well, if I touch myself and I use a toy, then I'm always going to need that to orgasm. Not necessarily. Adding in toys can be another part of sex play, and it doesn't mean that you'll need it every single time. And if you do, so what? The more the merrier, and your partner should not be intimidated by a toy. If anything, they should be really turned on that you feel so secure in your relationship that you can share with them what feels good and that you want each other to feel good, and it's not just about one person. Oh, and the myths about like going blind from masturbation or your hands will turn hairy. Given the statistics I already shared, we would have a lot of blind and hairy people in the world, and we just don't. Those are leftover scare tactics when kids were told to not masturbate. Again, oftentimes based in religion, but not always. Totally false. So is masturbation bad for you? No. The only time you should be concerned is if you feel that you can't stop or that you're doing it so much that it's interfering with your relationship with your partner and it causes you or your partner distress. That's really it. Masturbation can actually be really good. We know that self-pleasure, like I've said, safest sex you've ever had. And we know that orgasm does really good things for your body. It can help with menstrual cramps and other kinds of pain. It can help you fall asleep faster. Those endorphins and the oxytocin that's released when you feel good and you orgasm help all of these other pathways. It can reduce stress. It can help improve your body image. It can be used as a tool to help with some sexual problems where there might be something like vaginismus going on where penetrative sex isn't possible. And this is another way to have intimacy without having to worry about penetrative sex. It can also reduce sexual tension because let's say you're having some issues with orgasm during sex, taking the pressure off and saying, you know what, we're just going to touch ourselves or we're going to touch each other and that's it. It can really help bring down the stress level around what's going on in the bedroom. So to wrap this up, masturbation is good. If you're masturbating so much that it's interfering with your life or it's causing you physical pain, that's a good time to reach out to us. But other than that, have fun. And stay tuned for part 2, where I help give you some tips about the clitoris, how to masturbate, some things you might not have even known that you could try to get you feeling good in the bedroom soon. And if you like this kind of content, and like who doesn't, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the bell so you get notified every time a new video is released. Please drop your questions and comments in the comment section below and head to my show notes for references and resources. I've got some really good ones there for you today. All right, everybody. Have fun. Know that it's okay to touch yourself. There's no shame. Let's bring down those stigmas and get to feeling good, my friends. Bye-bye.